What's up YouTube, George of All Trades here, and today I'm talking about Westworld Episode 8, Trace Decay. This episode was crazy. I feel like I can't even keep up with the individual storylines and what's going on anymore, and so I can't even guess about the dependencies between them and who's related to who, and I can't even keep up with it anymore. But I'm still enjoying Westworld. We're still getting action, we're still getting intrigue, we're still getting backstory on a lot of the characters, and we're still guessing about who's who and if they are who they say they are. It's only appropriate that I begin this episode where we left off in episode 7, that Bernard is a host. Now, Dr. Ford had Bernard murder Theresa, and it's apparent that Dr. Ford feels like the ends justify the means and that he's justified in committing a murder as long as he keeps his place at the top of Westworld. Now, to give poor old Bernard a little comfort in the situation, we see that Dr. Ford erased his memory, and Bernard was really distraught over this. Looking forward, I'm pulling from the sneak peek for episode 9, we see that hosts are remembering things, Bernard is going to start remembering things, and the big question here is Bernard going to be angry enough that he's going to defect from Dr. Ford? Is he going to switch sides, or maybe is he even going to hurt him? Now, also at the end of last week's episode, I thought for sure that William was the man in black, and after seeing tonight's, I've kind of rescinded a little bit on that, and I'm back in the gray area. It seems like the William and Dolores story happens sometime after the park opens, because we see that in the place that Dolores calls home, it's a small town village type area where the hosts are being trained in activities like socializing and dancing with one another. This is very likely the place where Dolores herself was trained to interact with humans. It's a place that she remembers fondly, and she's very upset to see that's all been destroyed except for that church's steeple. And it's very interesting, she's walking towards it saying, "Arnold said he'd meet me there." But no, William's like, "Hey, come on girl, let's go, we got things to do." And I'm like, "No, William, go back to the church, we gotta see what's inside because there's something really important in there." But the story advances, and it left us wondering what's going on with that church, because it's very obviously an important place now. Dolores remembers it. And then in the beginning of Ford's new narrative, he took Bernard out there and said that he's making this new thing. We got some images of it as well. So heading into the future 2 episodes, the last ones of this season, we're going to be wondering if the church is going to make an appearance. Moving on, again guys, I hate to say this, but my enthusiasm and my zest and my oomph for the Maeve story is kind of running out, because okay, she's been exploiting these lab technicians, and in this episode she actually cuts this guy's neck, and he's laying on the floor bleeding out, and he gets stitched up, and there's seemingly no consequence from that. I don't even know if this guy goes to the hospital. He probably just gets in his car and goes home with his throat cut. That's kind of silly to me, but in this episode, Maeve also got smart. She looked at the programming, and now she understands how to manipulate the other hosts in the park. So if she is serious about making a break for it and getting out of Westworld, at least she has the help of everyone around her. The one redeeming thing I'm really getting out of the storyline is we see that Maeve now has the capacity to injure and murder human beings. Now that ties in because the man in black is the old boy that stabbed her daughter and killed her. And the man in black is running around Westworld doing whatever he does on his death wish. So is Maeve gonna, well, I don't know, it feels right, so we'll have to see what happens there. Speaking of old boy though, we got a lot of exposition from the man in black this episode. He said that he went to Westworld after he had some tragedy in his family as a way to find himself, and he quickly discovered that in Ford's game, you basically get nowhere. You get the simulation where there's no feeling, you're devoid of contact with other people, and it was a lonely experience for him, but he said that Arnold's game is the one that cuts deep. I still have a lot of uncertainty about what exactly the man in black is after and what he wants to find at the end of that maze, but it certainly sounds like he wants a real experience, he wants real violence, real thrills, and if death is at the end of that maze, he's willing to accept it. But I'm wondering how much of the man in black's backstory was actually true, because in this episode we also had a nice little scene between Dr. Ford and Bernard where Dr. Ford explains that everyone has a start and we'll have our own backstories that gives us motivation and meanings, and then conveniently after that we get the man in black's backstory. Now, he lied to Teddy about Wyatt having Dolores. He's still lying to him, and I don't think it's beyond the man in black to try to lie to him to get him to at least untie him or go along or whatever he wanted to do. And so next time on Westworld, I can't even do this right now. I don't know what's gonna happen anymore. I don't know if I'm on the right track with this, but when the lady from the board told the drunken story writer to get some information into Old Man Abernathy and get him on a train out of the park, it seems like she's continuing the job that Theresa was doing, smuggling data. And if that is true, it seems like she will have a short time before she meets her maker at the hands of Dr. Ford. That is truly as far as I can get right now, but I'm having a lot of fun watching Westworld. We got 2 episodes left, and I'll be watching both of those. So hit me below in the comments. Tell me what you thought about this episode. I'll be watching those and replying to all y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up if you like my video, and I will see y'all after episode 9. Bye, y'all.